Hello guys, today we're talking about a new manga that just released with Shonen Jump, and this manga is called Ayashimon. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. The first chapter just came out. I think it was like last night or maybe this morning. I'm not sure because I just woke up and I saw the chapter. But this manga is honestly really great. If this manga is done properly, it definitely can have a lot of potential if it's written properly and given enough care. Yeah, 100% this manga can thrive and be something great. Now, I don't want to get my hopes up too high because it might get axed just like Red Hood. I've already talked about this before. I talked about my disappointment with the fact that Red Hood got cancelled and it finished too soon. I'm hoping that this series does not finish soon. I hope that this series keeps on, going for a long time, right? I hope that this series thrives. Okay, I'm putting all my bets. I'm betting everything on this series. I'm trying to support the series as much as I can because this series is honestly a really great series, just based on the first chapter alone. But speaking of the first chapter, let's get on to what this chapter is about. So, the first chapter is, of course, to introduce the characters. Introduce the main character, who he's a huge anime fanboy. He loves anime. He loves especially action-type anime. And so, he trains to the point where he can split boulders in two. That's literally how much he trains, right? He trains so hard that literally no one wants to accept him for a job. No one wants to get near him. Because if he touches them unknowingly, he can end up, beating them. Right? He can end up, destroying stuff. He can end up, hurting someone real badly. That was shown in this chapter as well, where he literally just grabbed onto a guy's shoulder and literally broke his shoulder. That's how strong the guy is, right? Being able to pretty much destroy anything he touches, yeah. Anyone would be scared of him, right? And this series definitely has a ton of references to a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot, of other anime. It definitely has a lot of references to anime. For example, the Kamehameha punch, right? That's a reference to Dragon Ball, right? The whole scene of like, come on, is there no one else strong than me? I want a real fight. I want a real challenge. That's similar to One Punch Man, where the main character from One Punch Man, he got so strong to the point where no one could give him a real fight. That's another example in this series. Honestly, this series has a ton of potential. And honestly, if this story does not get cancelled because, using references from other anime, I sure hope that this is a type of story that lasts for a long time. And speaking of lasts for a long time, let's talk about the main female character, which she is, getting chased by these thugs, by these yakuza, we presume. But then we find out that, yeah, they're not yakuza. They're not just your run-of-the-mill villains, right? They're not just some street thugs, right? They're not. They're actually monsters, yokai, right? And seeing our main character, actually, going and facing them by himself shows that, yeah, he is strong. Don't get me wrong, we get a small glimpse of the main character's past. But the main character is strong, which begs the question, is he really human? Which is something that the main female character asked the main character. Like, are you really human? Like, for you to be able to split a boulder in two when you're at the age of 7, that's not normal. That's not normal by any means, right? If I was to try to do that, I'd not be able to. But of course, it's anime logic, so it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense why he's able to do this. But, yeah, like, overall, the story is really great. It definitely gives you a lot of expectation, especially for the next chapter. Because it's the first chapter alone manages just to catch your attention, be like, oh my god, this series is really funny. Oh my god, this series is funny, but it also has great action, and like, the characters are just really enjoyable. Yeah, like, there's going to be a lot of expectation for the next chapter, which I hope that this series gets a lot of attention. I truly do hope it does. But yeah, overall, I really like the story, especially from like the first chapter. Yeah, it's definitely a good story, and it's definitely a story that I would definitely recommend reading once it gets more chapters. And fingers crossed it does not get cancelled, because this series is definitely a series that can be something great, just like Red Hood. Shame that Red Hood did not get, you know, a lot of attention in Japan, but I hope that this series does, because this series has a ton of potential. Which, yeah, if you guys didn't know, this is made by the same author who made Hell's Paradise. I talked about it before. I talked about Hell's Paradise before as well. But yeah, like if you guys loved Hell's Paradise, this is the author's new work, so go and support it, right? Go and support this author's work, because it's honestly really great, and something that honestly I think that a lot of people would actually enjoy this manga for. I think that a lot of people would enjoy, especially people who liked his previous work, just like I did. Yeah, you're gonna enjoy this series quite a lot. But yeah, make sure to give this series a lot of support, right? By reading the story and giving it a lot of love, right, to this story. And fingers crossed this series does not get cancelled. Give your support. Overall, this is my overall thoughts on the story. I love the story. It truly does have a ton of potential. I know it's the first chapter, but it definitely has a ton of potential to be an amazing series. When it comes to characters, like I said, I really like each and every single character. Sure, we only get introduced to two characters, the main female character and the main character. The main female character, she is a very nice girl, right? She is someone that honestly is a typical, you know, cool and badass female character, where she doesn't really interact in fights or anything like that, but you can tell that she has this, you know, presence around her that makes her be a great leader. If she gets the right people, she gets the right, you know, treatment, and she gets to do the things she wants to, she will become a great leader. And of course you have the main character, who's a huge anime fanboy, which by him being a fanboy of Dragon Ball, of JoJo, of Kinemon, Kinemon, I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly, because he was a huge fan of these characters, he tried to be as strong as them, and so he did. But the problem is that because he's so strong, no one wants him to be around him, because he just destroys stuff with the huge amount of strength that he actually has. And of course, seeing him destroy all of those monsters by himself was a treat. I really like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully in the future I will talk about this series more in depth once we get more chapters. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'll see you all next time.